and welcome everybody. This is Wildstorm Addiction, episode 58 for August 2022. I'm Ben Murphy.
And I'm Joe Solis. And 58, isn't that our age now?
Feels like it. This is where we review the Wildstorm news and new series that are releasing very soon. Believe it or not, we have been on a 6-year hiatus.
A forced one.
Yes. Yeah, so before we get into this news that's coming up, let's do a little catch up for our Wildstorm fans out there. The last episode that we released was May 2016. So let's just go through. Joe, I'll let you kick it off. How many new children we've had? Have we gotten married? What are we doing now post the dreaded C word? Family, work, hobbies, activities, whatever.
Yeah. Well, let's see. During the last episode, we were just about to purchase our first retail store for our old comic and game shop. So for us, there's no wonder that it was kind of good timing that it fell off, because that was a lot of work. We did that for a couple of years. We sold it because I got sick, and then we did want to start a family, and we did that right as the pandemic started. so our son was born in October of 2020, 2 days after my birthday. So there goes my birthday forever. And but as those of you have seen, I did do a little bit of a resurgence there in 2020, because I realized it was the 10-year anniversary of our podcast. So I started posting some YouTube episodes of some older stuff, newer stuff. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But what about you, Ben? I think you've got me beat on the number of kids.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, we had another kid since we took our long break. Alice just turned 6, so that's right around when we stopped things, right before we were about to have her. A lot of life changes. There was downsizing during that dreaded pandemic, and I lost my corporate retail career of 20 years, but God's been good to me, and I get to help out nonprofits and churches every single day, working for a company that does online giving. So it's been fantastic. I love it, and it's just been fun to play with the kids for the last couple of years. They're all growing up. I have 3 of them: 10-year-old, coming on 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, as you can see, I dug out my old Wildstorm Addiction t-shirt. It is fitting a little bit more snug than when I first got it, but gotta have the dad bod, right?
That's right. You've earned it. There'll be more puns throughout. Dad jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you give us a recap of what's happened in the Wildstorm world since 2016 before this big news that we're about to cover? There's been a lot of appearances since then.
Yeah, I was going to say there wasn't much there for a while. If you've seen on the site, which is still active, wallstormaddiction.com, I did start a checklist, and it's by year. So you can see that around 2016, things pretty much dried up. I think all we had was an Apollo Midnighter appearance in a DC summer special, and then we had Grifter show up in Batman 101, and after that they planted the seeds for the following year, where we got to see Grifter come back in Batman Urban Legends, which eventually led to the creation of a new Wildcats team with some old faces, some new faces, some old faces that have new faces. So that's where we're at. And yeah, DC hung on to this news for the longest time, that they were doing a rewind to the 90s coming here in November. I mean, nothing like waiting till almost the end of the year of the 30th anniversary of Wildstorm and Image Comics to announce something, but better last minute than not at all, right?
That's right. Yeah, let's jump into that. So as Joe mentioned, DC Rewinds to the 90s is upcoming in November, and this is beyond just Wildstorm. Wildstorm was just that hidden gem that they were holding on to, as Joe mentioned. So the release, the public release of this says, this November, DC will feature over 15 90s themed variant covers across its line of comics, including 5 fully embossed covers from some of the top cover artists. What they don't say in that specifically is that the hugest, well, at least for us anyways, the biggest reveal is that they're bringing back Wildstorm for this resurgence to the 90s. So let's dive into that and really pick apart each of these releases that they've kind of put in out there. So the very first one to release will be Wildcats #1, and I'm going to cover Wildcats #1 and 2, and it's by Brett Booth and Sandra Hope. So we get some of the best 90s comic artists out there that we grew up with. I mean, this is really what launched Wildstorm, so we're super excited by this. So #1 is on sale November 8th, and it's $3.99. So they're still holding the line at $3.99.
Oh God, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. And then there's #2 is on sale December 6th, also for $3.99. So those both have cardstock variants for $4.99. These are both 32-page issues. Between issues 1 and 2 of Wildcats, there are over 10 variant covers. So good luck picking up all of them. At least take out a third mortgage, whatever, sell your kids' college savings to get all of this stuff as we go through all of these releases. But issues 1 and 2 written by Matthew Rosenberg with art and cover by Steven Segovia. Oh, I forgot how much fun this is trying to pronounce everybody's name. And variant covers by our favorite Jim Lee, Stanley Artgerm, Lua, Ben Oliver, Jeff Spokes, Alan Kwan, Dan Hipp, Brett Booth, and Sandra Hope. So that's an amazing thing. What do you think about the release of issues 1 and 2? The question is, will we see the pre-release for 3 and 4?
I hope so. I mean, just real quick, if you saw Grifter in Urban Legends, Matthew Rosenberg wrote that one, and he planted the seeds, and we can link it later. But there's a great article with him at his Substack, where he talks about how he literally went in and talked to Ben Abernathy, looking for a job. And he said, of course, well, what do you want to write? And he said, well, I kind of stumbled through talking, well, of course, Batman and all that. And at the very end, he mentioned, I love Wildcats. Well, this is Ben Abernathy, who was big at Wildstorm back in the day. I actually got to meet him at San Diego Comic-Con 2010. And any chance, he can bring that back, he has. So he's really the reason why this is coming back, and he gave Matthew the go ahead, but he obviously told him, you got to lay out the seeds here for a year, and then we can lead up to the 30th anniversary. So I think it was really cool, really pretty perfect the way that they kind of led into it and kind of built that hype for the past year.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man, next release, why don't you cover that one?
So the next one is actually for DC's Black Label series, which is their mature titles. And this one is literally called Waller versus Wildstorm. It's supposed to be a 4-issue miniseries, I understand, and $5.99, 32 pages. This one's written by Spencer Ackerman and Evan Narcis. Again, I apologize for not pronouncing your name correctly. With art by Eric Battle, cover by Jorge Forenes, and a variant covers by Eric Battle and Mike Perkins. So this one is interesting. They're always trying to pepper the Wildstorm characters kind of in DC's history. So it's like they're doing revisionist history, but in the DC universe. Well, they're always doing that. That was even before. But we know Amanda Waller, of course, from the Suicide Squad, whether you've read the comics or seen her in the movies. So she's pretty perfect, I think, for a Wildstorm centered book. And she's supposed to go up against Battalion and Stormwatch. And from the cover art, Battalion's actually in his classic armor. So that was cool to see. And because, like I said, it's a Black Label series, we can expect all the mature themes that we used to see in the old Wildstorm books, because they, of course, never used to shy away from any of that. So that's probably, I think this series is going to be a surprise because of that. I think they're not going to hold back.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds really cool. So these are, again, these are 32-page issues, and as Joe mentioned, this is like a mini series, so around four issues, and the first one goes on sale November 15th for $5.99, and there are four variant covers for the first issue, and all the covers are cardstock. Written by Spencer Ackerman. Oh no, you already did all that stuff, right? We're rusty. 6 years. Give us a break.
Yeah.
No, this sounds really cool. I'm excited that this isn't just like a one issue deal that are just trying to placate the old school fans. I mean, Joe and we're definitely kids of the late '80s and '90s. So to have this resurgence of the '90s, it really feeds into our love of comics.
For
Um,
sure.
let's go into the third big reveal, which is Wildcats 30th anniversary special. So this is a one shot. This goes on sale November 29th, and it is 96 pages. So this should be that nice thick issue. This has two variant covers. There's a glow in the dark one and a foil one. And if that doesn't bring you back to the early 90s, I don't know what will. Man, I
Yeah.
love those foil those foil variants. This is written by this is insane how many writers and artists are on this. I actually cut out a lot of them because it's crazy. So written by Matthew Rosenberg, Joshua Williams, Brandon Choi, J. Scott Campbell, Brett Booth, Ed Brisson, and many more. They don't even list them all. With art by Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell, Brian Hitch, Brett Booth, covers by Jim Lee, and variant covers by Sosa Maiko, Brian Hitch, Joshua Middleton, J. Scott Campbell, and Lee Bermejo. Did I get them all? Wow.
Yeah.
This should be a great collector issue for everybody. So yeah, grab the glow in the dark and foil one, and it's $8. Come on, you'll enjoy it. I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely going to get the Jim Lee one and the J. Scott Campbell one. And I may stop there just because of finances.
Third mortgage. Third mortgage.
Yeah, for some reason they make them all $7.99 when you do that. I'm like, it's just the cover I want. I don't want all
Yeah.
the.
Get a bundle deal.
Yeah.
All right. And before, as we were putting all this news together and deciding, hey, it's been 6 years, let's get together and oh, sorry, I was on the wrong page here. Get together and do this. Joe reminded me, oh yeah, and there's one more thing. So you want to cover this last one that just
Well,
was
the
announced?
the funny thing is, this was actually the first one I saw before all the other announcements, so I was kind of thrown off because this one is called DC's Grifter Got Run Over by a Reindeer #1 shot. It's on sale on the 29th. I'm pretty sure that's Black Friday weekend. $9.99, 80 pages, written by Derek Fridolfs, John Layman, Max Bemis, Kevin Scott, Michael Conrad, Scott Brian Wilson, and art by Dustin Wynn and cover by Carlos de Anda. So there's a couple of Wildstorm veterans right there. Now, I know that a lot of people were torn about this one because they were like, oh yeah, just take Wildstorm characters and put them in goofy situations. That'll get people loving them again, And I'm like, come on, man. Like, even before I saw the other announcements, I was like, we can have fun sometimes. I mean, I get it, but I don't really think that anybody's going to look at this and be like, oh, Grifter's a clown. That's what he is, I mean, apparently he's a smart mouth, but that's about as much of a clown as he is. So, so it's going to be a fun one. I mean, I'm sure out of all of these, it's probably the one people are going to pick up the least, but it doesn't just have Grifter in it. It has other DC characters as well. It's an 80-page one-shot. So there's going to be other draws as well. I didn't see on here what the other characters were, but I know there's other character stories on here as well. I think Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Well,
on the cover is Harley Quinn, so that that'll bring a lot of people or Harley Quinn fans and collectors there. So
yeah, it's just a one-shot. It's a special. It's we had them in Wildstorm before. I mean, didn't we have like the the Halloween specials and stuff like that. I know we had a Gen 13 Christmas, was a Gen 13 Christmas caper or whatever. So we've had them before.
Yeah, there have been some of the silliest crossovers and one shots in the Wildstorm universe before, so this doesn't surprise me at all. And you know, sometimes those are just fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
So that is four big, pretty amazing announcements, and hopefully hopefully a lot of people and dormant fans of Wildstorm will go out and support these additions so that we can see it continue. I know we've had a million reboots and lived through the woes of the 2000s, early and late 2000s, aughts, the 10s, and now we're into the 20s. So we'll see what happens from here on out.
Yeah.
But yeah, yep, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say a couple other shout outs. So I know later on I'm gonna kind of skip ahead but I'll backtrack. Clark's Bar, if you remember back in the day, that was run by our friend Chris Stryker. He used to have his own website for it, but then he shut down the website. He actually unfortunately shut down the higher authority website as well. And he moved everything to Facebook, so you can search Clark's Bar. There's currently only 19 members because it's basically just the few surviving people from the old one. So it truly is like a little bar, going to, kind of like Cheers. However, there is a bigger group called the Wallstorm Universe Facebook page that is run by a guy named Brian Hartless, who is a super big Wallstorm fan as well. His knowledge of this universe is crazy. He knows so much. He's a big Backlash fan. You can find him. He has a icon of Backlash on his profile. But there's over 4,000 members in that one. So, wow. Yeah. So, and he's adding new ones all the time. I want to say when I joined him a couple of years ago, there was maybe just a couple of thousand, which was still impressive. But every time he hits a new milestone, he celebrates it, and he's very active with talking with Brett Booth online. Brett Booth does a lot of custom work through his Patreon. There are some amazing pieces he's been doing for the Wallstorm 30th anniversary. If you haven't seen them, if you go into the group, you can see them. He's done a lot of cover recreations of classic Wildstorm #1s like Stormwatch #1, Wildcats #1. So lots of cool stuff out there to see. One of the other gentlemen on there, his name is Christopher Crowther, who is another big Wallstorm collector. He posts stuff on there, things that he finds on eBay and whatnot, Wallstorm memorabilia that I didn't even know existed. And so he's compiling a website here that's called worldofwildstorm.com. It's currently also, he's building a YouTube channel as well, but he collects everything and he keeps it all nicely categorized. Here you found the old Wallstorm oral history page. That's I've actually got that. Hold on a second. So this is what you're referring to. This was a Kickstarter done by Joseph Hedges a few years back called Wild Times: The Oral History of Wildstorm Studios, and he went through and he did tons of interviews with Wildstorm alumni. I know he had wanted to do a anniversary edition for this year, but he didn't get to it. So I don't know if he's ever going to do it again or if he still has packs available. You have on here that he had still copies available at the website. I haven't visited his website long. He's actually active at the Wildstorm Facebook group as well, so I get to see him post on there every now and then. There you go.
Yeah, you could see his Kickstarter. He had a $30 combo pack, and that's sold out. But the digital copy and the print copies are still available. So you can get the combo digital and print for $25, the digital for $12, or just the print for $20. So pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, I highly recommend that group if you're on Facebook, because there's even lots of Wallstorm alumni on there. Jeff Marriott is on there. He loves to answer questions. And I think Alex Gardner just got added the other day. So lot of Wallstorm people that you can ask them questions directly.
Yeah, and Joe and I will post all of the links that we've covered today. So the announcements, all of those websites that you can go to, we'll put it in the show notes and on YouTube as well. And remember, all of these books are available digitally, either through DC Comics website or Comixology, day and date every Wednesday. That was 6 years ago. I'm sure you can stream them straight to your brain. Who knows? I mean,
yeah.
We're now in the future, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking at your contact info. It's also old.
Yeah, you could basically throw out whatever you want there in order to contact us.
Yeah.
Our website's the best way to get a hold of us directly.
Yeah, you can still find me on Twitter. I mean, I still mine's twitter.com/Wildstorm That's easy to know, easy to know now. And I also still run the twitter.com/Wildstorm Addict. I've been posting everything on both of those. And yes, our email has still been active, wildstormaddiction@gmail.com. I think you had mentioned here something about listener mail. We hadn't got anything since way back in like 2016. However, I will say I did find some of the old ones, and when I launched the YouTube, I sent out messages, and I got some pretty funny responses. One person, I wish I could remember who it was like, "Oh wow, this is the most random email that I've ever gotten." It's like, "Welcome back, guys." So yeah, it's nice to know that people still remember us. I just shared a comment with Ben last night from Clark's Bar that somebody was missing us. So we're still going a little bit, on YouTube. I try to do videos of different kinds on there. I'm uploading an old podcast on there as well. If you're feeling nostalgic, all 57 of them will end up there eventually. I'm only on number 3 for now. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Joe, for continuing the love of the Wildstorm universe while I kind of was in, I don't know, hibernation, I guess. Yeah.
Get your priorities straight, man. God.
Yeah, but hopefully you guys will see us more often. Funny little story. We just hired on a new associate pastor at our church, and he's like, "Hey, I'm actually a Wildstorm fan," and and he had seen our websites before in our podcast, so I was kind of cracking up about that and reconnecting with his love. So hey. Don't be a closeted Wildstorm fan. Apparently there's more out there than you realize, and hopefully you'll see us again soon. I think, Joe, maybe we can commit to in 4 months. Let's do a review of this new stuff in December, maybe late December before the new year. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that, and hopefully we won't be announcing any cancellations. But no, I mean, that's why I'm hoping it goes, for a while. But obviously, pre-order the book, go to your local comic shop. Those pre-orders scream to DC that, hey, yeah, we do want this book. And, give Matthew Rosenberg and his team a try, because I really feel like he did good with Grifter and introducing them. So I think he's a legit Wildstorm fan, as you heard, so I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, and Joe is absolutely right. The only reason we're recording this is I have a very, very rare, speaking of rare editions and variants, a very rare morning to myself with no kids in the house. So that is why we're able to do this. So to his point, I'm probably going to run out to my local comic shop today to take advantage of that time, because I haven't been there pre-naughty C word that we don't discuss. So I'm probably going to visit them and say, hey, these books are coming out. Can you hold every single one for me in every variant? And I will start saving the $200 that it'll take to pay for all of those.
Hey, don't sell yourself short, Ben. We know it was all a plan, right? It's like last year, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield came back as Spider-Man, right? Then this year we had Patrick Stewart come back as Professor X. So it wasn't just natural that you were going to come back out of retirement. It was just the way of things.
So cue that awesome early 90s Wildstorm music, and we will see you guys hopefully in 4 months. Take care.
Yep.